and we can only discover them when we diligently study it. Most of the New Testament letters, called the epistles, were written to young churches and believers who needed to grow in their faith and learn to live God's way. The writers, including the apostles Paul, James, Peter, and John, were trying to help new believers become established in their relationship with God and learn how to live godly lives. That's why they contain not only valuable theological principles, but also important advice for our practical, everyday lives. I am excited to know that I will one day go to heaven, but I also want to enjoy the life I have today and every day before I go there. One reason Paul's epistle to the Colossians is so important for us to study and understand is that it is all about Jesus. From start to finish, this letter exalts Jesus and affirms his lordship. The theme of the epistle is the headship of Christ, and the primary lesson of these 4 chapters is to put Jesus first all the time, above and before everything else. We are to put him first in our time, finances, thoughts, conversations, decisions, and relationships. If we keep him first, we will never have to strive for or chase after anything. The blessings of God will chase us and overtake us. Deuteronomy 28:2. In Matthew 6:31, Jesus spoke about people who do not keep him first and the fact that they worry about their lives, saying, "What shall we eat?" Or, "What shall we drink?" Or, "What shall we wear?" He went on to say that people who do not know God run after all these things, but that your heavenly Father knows that you need them. Matthew 6:32. Then he said, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Matthew 6:33. When we keep Jesus first and seek his kingdom above all else, we can live in love, peace, joy, power, and blessing. Paul's letter to the Colossians focuses so intensely on Jesus and encourages us to keep him in first place in our lives because Paul knew that the believers in Colossae had been exposed to a false spiritual teaching that said Jesus was not really God. This popular belief system of the day, called Gnosticism, questioned Jesus' lordship, sufficiency, and supremacy. At the time Paul wrote Colossians, Christianity would have been in jeopardy of being completely overwhelmed by false religions had God's grace not protected it. He understood the extreme danger this heresy presented to the Christians in Colossae and responded to it strongly with this epistle, emphasizing the importance of exalting Jesus over everything else. Out of his love and care for them, he confronted the heresy in this letter so they would realize how harmful it was to their faith and would be able to stand against it. Gnosticism is a strange mixture of all kinds of different so-called religions, including Jewish legalism, Greek philosophy, and Eastern mysticism, all interwoven in a most cunning and deceptive way. 2 Thessalonians 2:7 refers to this as the mystery of lawlessness. Gnosticism teaches that human beings cannot know God. I cannot imagine anything sadder than for a person to be committed to a religion, diligently practicing it day after day, week after week, and to know they will never have a personal connection with the God they worship. As Christians, we believe that Jesus did not die for people to subscribe to a religion, but for us to have a personal, intimate relationship with God. While Gnostics say human beings cannot know God, Christians believe knowing God is the central theme and goal of life. Gnosticism is filled with human reasoning and is therefore attractive to the human mind. But it is satanic in origin. Some scholars even believe what was going on in the Church of Colossae was the root of what is called Christian Science today. The purpose of Paul's letter to the early Christians in Colossae was to urge them to beware of such deception and hold fast to Jesus as Lord. Paul wrote his letter to the Colossians while he was in prison in Rome around the same time he wrote to the Ephesians and the Philippians. He had never been to Colossae or met the believers there. Most likely, a man named Epaphras